The ModernJeeper Show, the show about Jeeps, Jeeping, and Jeepers.
Well, hey, Modern Jeepers, it's Matson from Metalcloak, and this is another episode of the ModernJeeper Show. And yes, we have no Corey, we have no Jessy, because they're still in Death Valley. This is like 2 weeks. I need to get a part-time co-host. Are you interested? Join me. Text me, message me. I need a co-host, because doing this by myself is kind of boring, you know? I like talking to you. I like having the interaction. It keeps me stimulated and keeps me from talking too fast, because I think if you noticed last time I was talking way too fast. Take a breath. Take a breath. Well, if you're watching this over here on YouTube, which I suggest you check it out, ModernJeeper over at youtube.com, you'll see that we have stuff going on in the background there, a little more videos from our friends over at Trail Nut, who are on the Death Valley trip again. Like, they are just amazing. They are truly trail nuts. And so it looks like we'll have some awesome video coming out from Trip 1 and Trip 2. A little bit later, I will be introducing Ricky Artez of JeepersDen, who was giving a report from Death Valley because he just left Death Valley. He was on trip number 2. As you know, Ricky was on some of our previous episodes. I'll link those in the show notes. And he's just out here all the way from Florida to Death Valley. That's like hours and hours and hours of driving. And the guy is a freaking machine. I mean, whether if you know him, because you know him, because Ricky just knows a lot of people, you know that he's always the nicest guy. He is fantastic, good businessman, great Jeep builder, and yet he is a machine when it comes to driving. He can get the vehicle and just go. Recently, I'm going to be doing a sleep study because I supposedly have some sleep issues that I need to take care of. So in there, they asked a bunch of questions, and every one of mine was extremely likely. One of those questions was, if you're tired and you're driving, how likely are you to fall asleep? And I'm like, yeah, extremely likely that I will fall asleep while driving if I'm tired. And that's not that I've ever done that. No, not in my 50 years. I've never fallen asleep at the road or anything like that. Stupidly? No, never. Not me. However, we've got a little bit of stuff to fill, and I just want to talk to you guys. Like last week, it was cool. You know, there's all kinds of cool news happening, some of which you can find at ModernJeeper.com. I haven't been keeping up on the website posting articles because I've been a little busy here at Metalcloak, but man, you've seen like there's all kinds of new little things coming out, new stuff about, you know, guys posting articles about the Bronco versus the Wrangler, and I think Jeep is putting a lot of push into that, right? Bronco versus Wrangler. I just saw something from Motor Trend, and we'll put this in the show notes, but which is easier to remove the hardtop, Bronco or Wrangler, right? I'll let you read the article for the conclusion there, because unfortunately they actually didn't come up with a conclusion. Interesting how that happens. But hey, you go to our own ModernJeeper.com, which I will show you right here. See what we got going on, and as you can see, we haven't really been very busy with articles this last week because, well, the main people who put up articles, Corey and Jessy, have been in Death Valley, and I have done a terrible job of keeping up the site while they were gone. So the last article posted was episode 106 that we just did with Chris Garvey, which, by the way, I think this week is the week that they're launching their new giveaway. So pay attention to those guys over at Forge 4x4 because they have the new giveaway launching up this week. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to hit, but they did give away the old one. It was basic big hit. Well, that's happening, right? Is that like, actually, that's supposed to be in a couple of days they're doing the giveaway. An $80,000 Jeep. Would you guys be involved in that? Would you be interested in that? There is some news on the giveaway front, though, in that Metalcloak is doing the build for Cal 4 Wheels rig this year. And they got a Nacho 4x4, a Nacho edition Wrangler 4-door. That's pretty cool. We're going to have fun building it. We're going to put everything we have for the JL on it, including a rack, including skid plates and everything. If we make it for the JL, it's going on to this rig. So that's going to be a lot of fun to build that puppy up and make it, including some cool stuff we have under the ARS brand. and all kinds of little goodies we can get. So it really is going to be a sports enthusiast build. Not just an overlanding build, not just a rock crawling build, but I think our focus is going to be making something for the sports enthusiasts. Kayak rack, maybe a bike rack. Who knows what else we can get through there and throw on there. So a little something different, but it is designed and its goal will be for the overlanding sports enthusiast rock crawler, the rig you can take anywhere, play anywhere, and do anything you want. I mean, that's what life is all about, right? So, hey, we got all kinds of stuff I wanted to share with you, or at least stuff that I thought I'd share with you. And if you haven't been to ModernJeeper.com, you listen to this podcast, go over to ModernJeeper.com. That is our news site. We've been around forever. I think it's been 2015, 14, 15 when we started this thing. And so there's lots of great articles there, lots of great content. Check it out. Some stuff that is timeless. Some great how-to articles, great tech articles. All over there at ModernJeeper.com. Now, we also have, sitting on this, we have Modern Jeeper Forum. Now, I have somebody looking through the window. I have an audience right now checking me out. And if it's cool, maybe he'll actually want to come in and talk a little bit. But if he doesn't, that's fine. Come on in. So I just had enter into the office Mr. Scott Becker. Now, Scott Becker is our guy. He is the man, the myth, the legend who does all of it. And you can't see me right now because I got this other screen on, but he can talk and say hi.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Scott Becker from Metalcloak.
So this is Mr. YouTube guy. You check out our YouTube videos at metalcloak.com and everything we have at youtube.com/metalcloak. Every time you see a guy sitting there talking or you hear that voice, you probably recognize that voice, that's Mr. YouTube guy. Now, Becker and his team are the guys that create just phenomenal video content for us. I mean, if you've seen the evolution of our stuff from Scott Becker's first video for us. Now, I want to say first video, go back in, take a look, and look for JK suspension.
Or don't.
That was the video that Scott created. God, what was that, 2012?
Yeah.
2012. Our very first video talking about the JK suspension, and even then it was incredibly in depth.
For the time, it wasn't too bad.
It was pretty darn good for the time.
Thanks, Matson.
And he had limitations because he was using fonts that I had prescribed based on stuff I had done at the time. And I think had he done it over again, or if he could do it on his own, it probably would have looked better, and wouldn't have been limited by grunge fonts and all that kind of weird stuff we were doing at the time. But what his team is creating now, what you guys doing up there is just amazing.
Well, thank you, Matson.
So, I mean, how much time are you guys spending on an average video?
I'm saying pretty much all the time. We're using all of the time to build videos now.
I mean, it takes dozens and dozens of man hours to put out a video.
It does, from the 3D renderings to clipping out green screens and chroma keys, setting up lights, building scripts, understanding the products. It's a very labor-intensive process, and it has to be right. That's right. It has to be right, and that's the key thing, because you guys out there are all very, very, very critical. You never had anybody come back and say that, Oh, never. They had problems with our stuff. So I'm bringing up our YouTube channel here, and I'll share more of that with you, but just some of the stuff that we have from, like the ARS video that just got done, and I'll play it here for you guys right now. Pretty incredible piece of work talking about all of our products and what it does and what its capabilities are. And I think we're pretty blessed to have a team here that just gets stuff done and does a great job with it. We are definitely lucky to be surrounded by a lot of fantastic people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we are lucky to have some fantastic customers.
We wouldn't be around without our fantastic customers.
That's right. Now, you're also wearing a shirt for Modern Jeeper Adventures Rubicon. Now, for those of you who are Modern Jeeper Adventure fans, Scott Becker is also the guy behind the Rubicon Adventure that all of you want to do. And I keep getting messages every week like, when is it going live? When is it going live? And it's limited to what, 12 rigs?
I believe it's going to be 10 to 12 rigs.
Yeah, so it's a pretty exclusive group to do a special run. We have a tentative date for it. We do not have a date for when we're going to go live with registration. We still have details to work out. My expectation is by June, after we finish the Moab event, we will go live with registration for Rubicon. And we'll have those details. But you got a lot of stuff in the works for that one?
We've got lots of stuff in the works for that, and I always try to come up with something new that, even though you've been on the Rubicon, maybe you've never seen some of the spots or done some of the things that we'll do out there on the trail.
And that's what makes it exciting and interesting. Well, cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming by. Is there anything I could help you with?
Nope, I was just coming by to say have a great evening, Matson.
Well, thanks, Scott. Yeah, it is nighttime here. I'm working and recording this little bit before we bring Ricky on to talk about Death Valley. And but I just thought I'd share with you guys a little bit of stuff. Hey, Scott, thanks for stopping by.
All right, good night. Good night, Cloak Nation.
Good night, Modern Jeepers. Take care, Scott.
See you, Matson.
Scott's going to ride home in his two-door JL, fully loaded. It's actually the inspiration for our build that we're going to be doing for Cal 4-Wheel, because he has it all set up as a sports rig, fully built to wheel, but with the Pro Rack system on it for the JL, bike rack, a kayak rack. I mean, it's just, it really is a cool little build. Anyway, we also have ModernJeeper Forum. I just kind of want to go over this with you guys, because if you haven't actually been to ModernJeeper Forum, you probably should go over there. I mean, it's a free forum to go. It's a no BS forum, because we just don't get on people about about being stupid, right? I mean, there's the stupidest part about forums is when people are constantly on you because you ask a question that they think is wrong, or it's a noob question, because we're all noobs. We've been noobs before, and we're noobs about everything in life. I mean, there's so much about life we don't know, so much about our Jeeps we don't know, and we just constantly learn and learn. I got attacked the other day for posting something, and oh, you should stop doing that and go build. We're all learning. We're all learning, and nobody's an expert. So we go out there to ModernJeeper Forum. It's a great place to post. There is an Ask an Off-Road Tech, which is very specific questions about off-roading. There's ModernJeeper Adventures, where we talk about other events that we're doing, places, Jeep builds and pictorials. Different clubs have posted on there, including the Metalcloak Owners Club has some stuff, and Gel Wrangler Owners Club and Forum, JK Owners Club and Forum, Six Pack Owners Club and Forum. General Jeep discussions, and of course, it's where Metalcloak posts all of our instructions, because we believe instructions should, one, be public, and two, you should allow user feedback. So if you download instructions and you are wondering, or you have some comments, or you have some questions, or you're not quite sure about something, or you have ways of making the instructions better, you post it on the forum, share it with other users, so everybody can discuss the discussion, the instructions, and give their feedback and make them better, and make them better for all the users. So check that out there, ModernJeeperForum.com, and again, it's free, and it's free to vendors too. If you're a vendor and you want to be on the forum, just reach out to us, let us know. Well, hey, Modern Jeepers, I asked out there for a co-host. I thought I was a little boring by myself today, and well, guess who popped up? Phillip Thorpe, ModernJeeper Adventures, just got back from a trip. You guys all know Phillip. He's been on the podcast before. He is one of our great ModernJeeper volunteers and supporters out there. He's also the guy who, if you want to have an event like a Metalcloak Owners Club event, he's the guy who coordinates all that. Phillip, dude, where are you at?
And I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, waiting on a spare tire to get taken care of, and fixing to start working my way back to Tennessee.
Yeah, I can see you're all loaded up in your rig, man. This was your overlanded. And what are you driving?
I'm in a 15 JKU.
Nice,
so
nice.
To the brim. There's no room.
And it's built to the brim too, because you just did a bunch of work on it. Was it last year or the year before that you made all those changes?
It was end of 19, finished it up early 20. Ton swap, new suspension, cage, everything. Just kind of went through and redid it all at one time. So it's been fun. It worked great all the way out here, and performed for 8 days out in Death Valley, and now I'm going to drive it back across the United States.
How incredible is that we're in this time and age where we could take a rig, load it up like that, drive it all the way across, have no worries about it, go play for a few days in the valley, and then drive all the way home, and and then be able to go to work.
Yeah, it's amazing what these things can take. I mean, we ask a lot from these vehicles, for one, driving across country with 40-plus-inch tall tires, and then driving through the desert the way it is. I mean, that place is not easy on any equipment. And then, okay, now I'm ready to go home, and it'll handle another couple thousand miles back. So it's amazing how far vehicles have came in a very short period of time.
Absolutely. And what 40-inch tires are you running?
Well, believe it, now I'm on Pro Comp 40s. I was on Goodyear 42s for the first part of the trip. Drove all the way out here. I had a tire that had a leak, so I swapped it out on the way out. I plugged it, And the last day of trip 1 of Death Valley, I hit something and put a hole in the side of the tire.
Oh, wow.
Have no real spare. So we plug it, start working our way back to Vegas. And I don't know, somewhere near Rhyolite, the tire blew out completely, just blew out. So now I had a leaky spare. I limped it to Beatty before it blew out.
Oh, man.
Then I had to get a tow back to Vegas. And the only 40s in Vegas that were readily available were some Pro Comps. So that's what I got now.
Oh, man. That's fine. They'll get you home.
They will get me home just fine. So
yeah, they're not a bad tire, ladies and gentlemen. Pro Comp's not a bad tire. They're a good price point, but yeah, that's awesome. It'll get you back there.
Yep. We were shocked. They have no balancing weights on them at all, and they ride fine at 90. So
that's awesome.
Well,
important. You know, you do what you got to do to get out there. So let's go back to Death Valley. So how was it?
Oh man, if you ever want to go somewhere amazing where every time you turn the corner it's beauty, that's the place. I have never seen so many colors in the rocks in my entire life.
Wow.
It's dusty. We didn't have bad wind till the last day, but it's amazing. Red Top Pass has to be one of the most stunning visuals I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
You work your way up those switchbacks, and as soon as you come through the crack in the rocks, and it just opens up in this huge canyon for Titus Valley, that's unreal.
And you were there for let's see, both trips, right? You've been there almost, what's that, 8 days, 9 days?
8 days. Yeah.
8 days. That's incredible.
Yeah. And they're two different trips, in all honesty. I mean, we did some of the stuff, same twice, but completely different both times.
Well, and the first trip started at Beatty, and this is a little different for us this year. It started at Beatty and went backwards essentially, and then the next and ended at Lone Pine. The next trip starts in Lone Pine and goes the other direction. So you do see things from a different perspective when you do it that way.
Yep. And one of the things that I know Corey's talked about in the past is the cabins that are out there that people just maintain. I mean,
right.
You can, so to speak, squat there if you need to for the night. I actually slept at the Minetta Mine Cabin both trips. I loved it. It was great. Got out of the wind or out of the cold because it was bad. And it was really neat. There was one place called Jailhouse Mine. It had running water. You could take a shower there if you wanted to. You could hook your propane bottle up to it and have hot water if you wanted.
Right.
So I need to run into these places in the middle of the desert that who would ever thought it would be there?
And that was the place that we ran into our first trip. We didn't even know it was there. We're coming down from the other side and coming down. It's like, whoa, hey, this is, and it was perfect timing for us because it was starting to get dark. It was probably another hour and a half to get off the mountain. And that was just an incredible location. You could have a hot shower, plenty of place to camp, fire ring. It was just how amazing. And these places, they're just free. They're out there now. We're not going to tell people too many things. We don't have a bunch of yahoos going out there, but the modern Jeeper community is not made of yahoos, by the way. So I love getting like Ricky, he's going to be joining us here in a bit, and we have a little conversation with him. And I know that he had, so just from talking to him briefly, he had some great feedback on his first time being out there. Your first time being in Death Valley, I love getting the feedback because everybody sees something differently, and just the perspective of what you're talking about. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our Modern Jeepers, one of the things that Philip does for a living is he's in the paint industry. So colors are his life.
Oh yeah.
He knows colors. Yeah. So the immediate perspective you have of talking about the colors of the rocks and the colors out there, which are incredible, but some people don't really notice that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that you don't notice it. I didn't notice it as much on the first trip as I did the second trip. The second trip, all of a sudden you see it. The places you went to twice, you see them in a whole new light. You start paying attention to more details. And all of a sudden, man, it pops. Or if the sun hits it just right, you've got all these reds and greens, browns. It's amazing. It should be at every Jeepers bucket list.
Well, and that's amazing you say that, because it does say a lot about you go through something, you're first overwhelmed, like, wow. I'm hearing all the news and all the commentary and just what's around you, and getting through the night and just learning all these new ways of living, right. And enjoying stuff and learning. And then the second time through, you start relaxing, you start noticing more stuff. So, and I think it was true for me. I've done Death Valley twice now, and both times, and it was the second time I was a little more relaxed. I didn't stress as much about making the event happen. I was trying to enjoy the feedback. The first time Dell was my passenger, so I was, in the thick of it. But it's amazing. So I'm glad you got a chance to do that. What's been happening, my brother? What's been happening since we last talked?
Phew. Man, what was that? That was Christmas. Honestly, I've been traveling. I mean, with my day job, I mean, I travel, 5, 6, 7 states, and I mean, I leave on Monday, come home on Friday or Saturday, and then turn around and do it again. So it's been nonstop. I haven't got the wheel or anything. I did a lot of maintenance for the Jeep before the trip, and I had friends going, "Hey, you want to go hit the trails? You want to hit the trails?" I'm like, "No, because I won't break. I'll just wait. We'll go on." So
Nice.
it's been it's been very fast paced. I cannot believe we're already into March already in 2021. It is just flying by.
It is amazing how quickly it's going. And I assume business has been good. People are buying paints.
Oh yeah. Businesses up, projects are still happening. It's crazy. In fact, as soon as I make I got 2,400 miles to go back to Knoxville. As soon as I get there, I got to turn around and drive back to Arkansas for the project for 2 days. So rest for the weary.
That's awesome. Well, that's good. That's good to hear. Now, Death Valley, what was your favorite part?
Other than the camaraderie, I mean, trust me, hang out with Dale, Corey, Jessy, and all those for those days, and plus everyone else we met, including Ricky, it was a blast. But Red Top Pass, and I love that. That is just amazing. And then Titus Canyon, finishing it out, that's really the cherry on the top. Being able to drive through a canyon where you can put your hands out on either side of the Jeep and touch the walls, and they're 300 foot plus tall. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Now, you did Titus Canyon twice, right?
Yes.
Okay, so did you go fast on the second trip?
No, I wanted to soak it in.
Me and Dell, I guess Dell has done it so long that he just goes through, but that's my second trip. It was all about, foot to the pedal. How fast can I go around those corners, especially since it's pretty much one way.
Yeah. We had to watch out. There was a lot of hikers on the second trip. So we had
it's walk out for the hikers. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. There was a bunch of them. The racetrack, now that was go fast. That was fun. It, it's funny. Everyone's Jeep's a little different. It seemed like the faster I got this thing to go, the smoother it was. I mean, 60, 65 miles an hour, it was like driving down the interstate.
It's always been true of the Metalcloak suspension, especially running 6-pack shocks. What are you running? Do you have 6-pack?
No, not yet. I'm on the Rock Sports.
Okay, so running the Rock Sports. I found early on, even just going down like little river rock roads, right? And I had to convince customers this. We did a customer run on the Rubicon years ago, and everybody's kind of going slowly out Wentworth Springs, and it's a bunch of river rocks, right? And I just had to convince them, stop going slow, speed it up a little bit. It smooths out. It's, and it's not that it's rough. It's just like river rocks are river rocks, right? And you're going over the stuff, it's going to be bumpy. But if you give it some go, it loves it. The suspension loves going fast.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you what was neat that we found out. There were some other manufacturers' shocks out there. So we ran racetrack. We got to the playa. That is 45 minutes of hard cycling of the shocks.
Right.
Running. And these are a monotube shock. Got out, put my hand on the shock body. It was warm. It wasn't even hot.
Oh, on the Rock Sport?
Yep.
Wow, I've never actually done that.
Yeah, put your hand on a competitor's. It'll light you on fire.
Wow.
You're a bypass.
Wow.
We found that to be pretty interesting.
Interesting. And then a little documentation now.
Yeah, there you go. But they performed really well. So, like I said, you're right. The faster you go, the way the Duraflex joints soak up all the vibrations and energy, you can really have a nice smooth ride where you can talk to somebody, and that was a big plus.
That's awesome. So you're gonna head out from here. How long is it gonna take you to get home?
It's 28 hours from where I sit. So I'm gonna try to make it to Albuquerque tonight. Make it there, I'll be pretty happy. I should be able to make it to Arkansas the next day.
So Ricky and I were talking because he's like, I stopped before New Mexico and I take off because he has a problem with New Mexico. He's scared of New Mexico. In fact, I'll make sure to ask him about that when he interviews this. But he was a little scared in New Mexico.
Oh wow! I tell you what, I was going to follow him into Vegas from Death Valley. Man, he got on it and he took off in that Gladiator. We figured he was in New Mexico by the end of the day.
Yeah, he had 40 something hours when I briefly touched base with him. Left and driving, but he's a machine. He's that type of guy, not me. I go and I have to stop. I can do the long hours. I do 15, 20 hours straight, but it's sketchy.
Yeah. Trust me, I did it on the way here because I had to make it to Death Valley in 2 days from Atlanta. Those were long. I think I drove 18 hours one day. I mean, you got to do, but I don't have to worry about that heading back. I'm going to take my time.
Nice. Well, I had a trip once where it was every 5 hours I took a 5-hour energy, and that got me through the trip. But let me tell you, the next day, I felt like I partied all night long. The biggest hangover from that crap. Biggest hangover. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, come on, if I'm going to have a hangover, at least let me have some fun with it.
Oh, shit.
Not 15 hours of straight driving. Cool. So you're getting a tire set up and getting out there and hit the road. So what is on Philip's schedule for the year? How are the MOCs? Any requests this year so far? How's what other events you planning on hitting?
Other than the ModernJeeper club guys down in I guess PCB down in Panama City Beach, they've got some stuff going. But really, I need some requests out there. I've got these canopies and flags sitting around. I'm ready to get them out of my closet. And that way, the United States.
For our Metalcloak Owner Clubs listeners, that's it, man. If you've got an event, something coming up, and you want to represent Metalcloak out there, and it's not really about representing Metalcloak as much as the owners club and the group and the people and the lifestyle and the friend camaraderie, reach out to Philip at Metalcloak Owners Club or metalcloakowners.club. You'll see there's actually a link to the application. We'll make sure it's up and prominent again for all the new members. And you just send a little application, Philip. No cost to you. We send out a canopy, some flags, whatever you request, and you get a chance to hang out. You can hang out on an event. And if there's costs associated with you having that set up at the event, let us know. And we try to do what we can to cover that. So you're basically at an event, hanging out with other Metalcloak owners, having fun and doing what you want to do and wheeling all that kind of stuff. And then when you're done, you send it back to Philip.
Yep. It's pretty cool. I've done several events where I've popped it up, and usually I'm going to an event by myself or maybe one friend and pop that up. And all of a sudden that night you'll have 5 or 6 guys hanging out with you. Makes events a lot more enjoyable sitting around a fire with like-minded people. So
absolutely.
Get the orders in.
That's right. We'll get that. Yeah, we'll get that popped up on metalcloakowners.club, which is a Facebook group. And if you are not a Facebook member, we apologize. We are we are sticking with Facebook for right now, but maybe we might change at some point in the future. Who knows what the future may be? Yeah. But we're not going to get political today, are we, Philip?
No, not with me. So you talk about events. I think the next event that might be next weekend. It's Ride for Reed. It used to be called the Crawling for Reed event down at Adventure Off-Road Park. And then I saw where Will's going down to Jeep Beach, so I may try to schedule my work down there that week and go hang out for a couple days.
That's awesome. Yeah, we got and Will's going to Jeep Beach. Will's going, which would be cool for him to be able to get out to Jeep Beach this year. I'm going to be heading out to Easter Jeep Safari at the end of the month. Just me and our new guy Chris going to put him into the fire, and he's going to be doing the CTI trailer guys and working with Corey and 5 days. And there's no better education for anybody in the suspension industry than 5 days of doing the CTI. You will learn more in those 5 days than you can in I call it a graduate course in understanding suspension systems, because you're going to see everything from the best Metalcloak to the most piece of homemade innovation that you've ever seen.
Beautiful weld, springs unsprung, you name it, it'll be there.
Absolutely. My favorite bump stops ever was a softball drilled through and on an XJ, which is where you got to see something like that on an XJ.
It's usually always the XJ. No offense, guys, but it's always the janky XJ.
XJs and Toyotas, I got to say. Similar mindset. I don't know. I didn't say that out loud, did I?
No, nothing.
Well, hey, thanks for joining me and giving me a little bit of relief here. We've got Ricky coming on in a second, and we will share his experience with you, Modern Jeepers. Philip, how can people reach out to you if they want to reach out and say hi?
Oh man, just look me up on Instagram. It's under 4LO tested. That's just 4LO tested. That's probably what I'm on most. I've got a Facebook page. It's under the same thing, but I'm not on Facebook a whole bunch. But yeah, reach out to me on there. And then you can obviously find me over on Modern Jeeper Forum. I'm under P Thorpe 84. I'm the administrator over there. So just give me a shout. If I can help you any way, I'll be happy to.
That sounds good, my friend. Well, thanks. It was great talking to you. Have a safe trip back, and we'll see you soon.
Oh, man. See you then. Thanks, Matson.
Well, hey, Modern Jeepers, we're now joined by Ricky Artez. I always screw this up. Is it Arts or Artez?
It's Artez.
Artez.
You did it right.
Okay. Yeah, I did it right. Yeah, I gotta stop self-doubting myself. I just got, my phone just went off for those of you who heard that sound, and that was Ricky actually sending me a picture. Anyway, we're joined by Ricky Artez, JeepersDen, one of our great friends over there in the other side of this great country, down in Florida. And you just got, I don't even have to look up what episode you're on, because you were on the show just a little while ago, huh?
Yes, we did the first podcast with you, the first one that was just about us or whatever, and then I did the Christmas one.
That's right.
That's where you made us sing.
Well, somehow I don't know if everybody was singing. Didn't you bring your daughter in to do the singing for you?
Yep, I brought both of them in there to do it with Alicia.
That's right. Smart man, delegate. Anyway, you just got back from Death Valley and doing the trip number 2 of the ModernJeeper Adventure Death Valley adventure.
Yep. We were actually on our way home still. We just we left the event yesterday around 2:30ish, 3 o'clock California time. It is now 4:39 here in Texas, and I'm on my way home.
What part of Texas are you in?
We are just west of Fort Worth.
And it was you and your daughter that went on the trip?
Yep. Just her and I went together.
That's awesome. Well, being that this was your first ModernJeeper adventure, what do you think?
Amazing. Corey and Dell did an absolute great job at doing this event. If they're all ran this way, my hat's off to them. They they have everything together. They didn't skip a beat. If there was something needed to be deviated, like they don't make you don't even know about it. They roll with it. Them two tackled Death Valley amazingly. They work together great too, man. They're great historians. They both work off each other, so it was awesome.
Well, I taught them well. Haha.
Oh yeah.
No,
For some reason I knew that was coming.
No, they have done well. Corey has done fantastic. Dell, of course, is an old hat with this. He's especially the history part, and Corey has embraced the history so much and become. It's great for you to say that, because he has now become the historian. He has now really taken it to a new level, and I couldn't be prouder of them for doing what they did, and me not needing to be there, and that was really the goal. These are not supposed to be Metalcloak events; these are supposed to be ModernJeeper events, and Corey is Mr. ModernJeeper. So fantastic. So where did you go? Because I know that the trips are always a little different. Where did you guys go?
Well, I'll start off. I left Florida Tuesday around 2:45, and we drove, and then I took Kayla by Hoover Dam. Then we went through the Vegas Strip. She'd never been there, so then we hauled butt. Kept rolling out west. We got to Lone Pine, California on Thursday at about 2:30 also. So it was about a 2-day trip for us. We ran it, me with driving, man. I'm hardcore on that stuff. I don't waste
I don't know how you do
I
it,
don't
man.
waste I don't waste much time. I'd rather work and not waste 4 or 5 days driving. So I'll do it hardcore. I get there, I relax that night. I woke up the next morning. It was awesome. We went out to dinner in Lone Pine, all of us. The Trail Nut crew. I forgot their names now, but they were there.
Jim and Deb, great people.
Jim and Deb, yes, yep. They came. They stayed. They had to leave early because of the RV. So it was a smaller group, but man, we started in Lone Pine Friday morning, and of course went right to Cerro and to Cerro Gordo, which is the old ghost town there, and met Brent, the new owner, and got a tour. That was phenomenal. I've been actually watching. I probably watched about 15 of his YouTube videos. Not watched them, but listened to them while we've been driving.
Oh wow!
Just trying to learn more about that place. That's a pretty badass place to tell you the truth, man. He's doing a great job up there.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's amazing to see the changes. And now I haven't been there. One, I didn't make it last year because we couldn't go on the first trip, and on the second trip they got to see it. And then after that there was the fire, so you got to see it post fire. Was there really that much damage, or did they talk much about the fire and what it did?
Yeah, the American Hotel and the saloon, and there was a building next to it, and I can't remember the name of it now, but those buildings are all gone. Like I said, his YouTube channel goes through all of that, and I mean, you get to see the mine. We get to see Dell got to see the big building where the cage goes down into the mine.
Oh wow!
But in 37 years he's been going there. He's never seen that. So he was pretty amazed with that.
Wow.
You know, like we said the whole trip, Corey just made that happen. You know, he put that as part of the permit. So, but no, that's our big joke. He didn't put on the permit for some of the stuff to be out. You know, he didn't call for good weather on sometimes and all that on the permits. It kind of screwed stuff up, but you know.
Yeah, you know, you got to be detailed with that government stuff. The bureaucrats pay attention.
Yeah, but no, I mean, it was awesome, man. I'm telling you, every night the camp spots were great. Everything we saw was amazing. The different terrains is out of control there. I mean, you go from desert to forest, you know, to green trees, and then you go back down, and then you're in the desert, then Joshua trees, and this. I mean, it was just like, it was overload for sure.
Wow, that's incredible. That is incredible.
Yeah.
So, and you camped. What was your various camping like? Night one, where did you guys camp?
Oh goodness, I knew you were going to put me on the spot. I had so much information overload. Kayla, where did we camp the first night?
Oh my god!
I knew you were going to put me on the spot too, man.
Describe it for me. What do you remember? What it looked like?
No, hold on. I'm trying to remember.
Miniatura mine.
The Mania. Yes.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Where you had a situation happen that we won't.
Yes,
talk about.
yes. Where our listeners are very familiar with my almost rollover because I was being stupid. Yes.
I got you. Yep.
So
same place.
So that's good to know that. Like, I talked to Scott Arntz, general manager of Cloakworks, who came on the first trip, and when they stayed at the Minnetonka mine, he was very familiar with my location. So you guys went, and you're familiar. So this is now part of the history lesson, right? So when we go to the Minnetonka mine, it's important to let everybody know where Matson almost bit it.
Yes, that we walked up. So Corey and we set up our area. We go into the cabin, and then once we set everything up, then Corey decides that, you know, I'm like, hey man, I really like to go to the top. Well, he didn't tell us that we could have drove up there, you know, so we ended up here we are, all three of us, in the wonderful shape we're in. We're hiking all the way to the top of that mine to where we went to the one that you went to, and then but man, what a hike. And then obviously there, you know, that was a blast, man. I mean, it was just like, there's a lot of freaky stuff that happens at these places, because I mean, you know, who knows? I don't believe in ghosts and all that either, but it does get pretty crazy up there. I mean, it's like things happen in the cabin while we were down on the fire, you know, this and that. It's like, it was funky.
That's awesome.
So we just decided that Corey said that every time that they go there, if we go to the mine before we're done, then something always weird happens. So we're thinking that we're maybe waking somebody up, you know.
Nice. Well, you know, I have to give my hats off to Corey, because I would have rolled had he not been standing behind me going, stop, stop. What are you doing?
Yeah, you should have seen Aaron's face when he found out about that, because he didn't know about it. So I'm sure you'll hear about it.
I told him. He knew about it. But it was
he was
fine.
like,
It was
"What?"
my own Jeep, so it wasn't like I was destroying a company Jeep.
Exactly, exactly. No, but yeah, man, we stayed there and then came off of there. Dell had parted away from us earlier that day, just a little bit earlier, and went and made sure that the cabin was available.
Mm.
So that's one of his favorite places. So he wanted to go unwind, and get his
That's
spot
awesome.
on the concrete pad. So
Well,
um,
and also to make sure there weren't some crazies there, because last year the first trip we went and we ended up there was awesome, and there was a great couple with a dog, and they were all, they were inviting us to hang out in the cabin. My understanding is the second trip was a bunch of young local yahoos who basically came out to do shooting, and so they were not kind. They did not like the fact that everybody else was camping there, and they ended up wrapping up and leaving. The Modern Jeeper group, we ended up just going someplace else or Corey and the team went someplace else because those guys decided that they're just going to be shooting and not really paying attention. So I
so
think a nice phone
I'm
call
sure you're
happened
gonna
after that.
hear. Yep. Well, I'm sure you're gonna find out. I'm sure Corey will tell you, and I'm sure he'll share the picture with you. But those kids wrote the whole story of the situation and everything in the camp book.
They
Believe it or
did.
not. They wrote it on there, wrote down that they were tripping on shrooms, wrote down that they were shooting, and they signed their first and last names under it in the camp book. So Corey's got all
Wow.
that. Yeah,
Wow.
Corey took a picture of it, and I'm sure he'll handle it from there.
Well, the fact that Corey, did he intentionally go in there and go, hey, I wonder if there's something written down from a year ago?
He did. He actually did. When we got to the hotel, he brought it up right away.
Oh, man,
So,
that's awesome.
yep. So he got that, and then we left there. Went to the second day. We went to Batterack. It was just, man, it's so much stuff. I got to go through the pictures because it was just overload. It was everything there is just awesome. Everything you did.
So I'm looking at a picture of your Gladiator you sent me, which, other than having uncut stock fenders, looks pretty cool, man. Pretty badass. And that your setup in the rear is great. So whose rack is that?
So this one started when when I got it, there was nothing available for the damn thing. So it's got Skyjacker lift on it. We just swapped it over to Falcon shocks because the Skyjacker shocks were just not having it. It's on 40s with the KMC bead locks, Nittos, and then on the back, this thing changes every couple weeks. So to be honest with you, Matson, so right now, right now it's got the Weston mid height rack, which I talked to Aaron about, and then it's got an Access tonneau cover with a Cargo Master basket on top with the Pelican cases on top and the power tanks up there, and then everything else goes under the tonneau cover so it doesn't get all nasty and dirty.
Nice. And then you got a few. Do you have Daystar Rotopacks or not Rotopacks? The Daystar cams on both sides?
No, just on the one side, and then obviously the rock slide engineering so you can get in the damn thing. Because if not, I'm too old to be jumping in here.
What do you mean you're not old?
Oh man, come on now, not that young anymore.
Puerto Ricans don't get old.
Oh yeah,
they just get sexy. Right. What are you talking about?
Well, that's what I tell Alicia, but she doesn't believe it. No, but man, I'm gonna tell you, man, I wasn't expecting it. Corey and I talked just a couple weeks ago. He had asked me if I could, if I'd like to come out, and of course I said yes because I want to get. I'm trying to. 2021 was going to be my wheeling and overlanding, a ton. Alicia might not be happy about it, but she's been getting to go with us more, so it's been kind of nice.
Nice.
But just trying to do these type of trips with our customers and stuff has been really nice. But when Corey asked me, I was like, I don't know. So I went and told Alicia, I was like, I think I'd really like to go to Death Valley. She's like, well, just go, if you think you can make it happen. And then when I told her how far away it was, and she's like, you're crazy. So, but I knew I only had so much time to do it in. So, and it was good. Like Kayla's the whole time Dell and Corey are talking, Kayla's over here saying, hey, I just learned that in school. Hey, I just learned that. So the whole trip was everything she's been learning in history now. So it was perfect.
Wow.
Yep.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And that is the beauty of that trip. That's unlike any other trip. I mean, you go to Moab and some amazing wheeling. And in fact, I know Jeremy Rowan, Outlaw Jeep Adventure, when he came out and did the Death Valley trip for the first time and got the huge history lesson, and the way that Dell does the commentary, he took it upon himself to do some research. And so now when you do some trips out in Moab with his group, you actually get a little history, a little commentary, and really get a better understanding of the trails in the area and what you're doing back there versus just, hey, let's go for wheeling. I think it's a great way because it also ties up that time in between, and why not get a little education, a little color to your trip?
Yeah, no, man. Corey put this little book together with all the information, which was perfect because you learn just enough. But I mean, usually I come on a trip, if I'm gonna go on something like this, I usually do a bunch of research. But between the shop, the ranch, Jeeping with Judd was the weekend before I left. So I came home Sunday from Jeeping with Judd, unloaded the trailer Monday, loaded the Gladiator Monday, hit the road on Tuesday. So I had like no time
Wow.
to really like I knew I was going to Death Valley and Lone Pine. I knew nothing else about what I was doing. I don't know. I really still don't know anything about Death Valley and the history and all that stuff. So I'm gonna do like that's what I've been doing now, is just been going through my notes that I took while they were talking and just pulling it up on YouTube, pulling it up on podcasts. And
wait. Let's don't let that pass. So you were taking notes while you're wheeling?
Yep.
That's
so,
dude. That's other level there. That's other level.
Yeah, like every ghost town we went to, like if there's a hole in the wall there, like Corey said, if there's a hole, it's calling his name. It's the same thing for me. Like if I see a mine, I want to go in. I want to know more about the history.
Wow.
So I wrote down a bunch of stuff, and I've just been pulling it up as we're going along. And I got 40 something hours of driving, so I got plenty of time.
That's great.
Stopped at midnight. I wanted to stop somewhere before New Mexico, so I stopped just on the other side of Arizona, just on this side of the border, because New Mexico, man, I don't know what it is. Me in that state just don't. That is just a nasty ass state, man. There's just you can't stop anywhere because you don't know if you're going to be safe. That state sucks.
There is a Valero right outside of Albuquerque on the way up to Colorado, and I've stopped there twice. And just like it's a Valero, but it has truck stop in it. So it's kind of a weird in middle of town truck stop. And I've parked there twice going through. Outside of that, I actually have a buddy in town who the first time I went through, was like, hey, any place to stay? And he actually arranged for us to stop the RV at the local fire department. And then we decided we weren't going to stop all the way. We needed to go further. But yeah, it was like, so if you ever need a place to stop, I got a fire department you can stop at.
That's perfect. Because I mean, I'm telling you, man, there ain't many places you want to stop in New Mexico for sure.
Right.
You may come out and your stuff's gone, your awnings are gone, or your tent's gone, you know?
Right. Yeah. Especially with a setup like that.
Yeah.
That's good. I had a set of cams on the back of my JK, and I will swear to God that when I was still going up through New Jersey, I had them. But by the time I got to the other side of New York City, I didn't.
Well,
they were on the trailer.
Driving. Yeah, no, they took them while you were driving.
Exactly. We were on the trailer. They were sitting on the CTI trailer in the back of the RV, and when I got to the other side, it wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, they grabbed them while they were driving down the road.
I think it was the George Washington Bridge where they got snagged.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I mean it's great, man. I mean, like I said, we've been doing our own events, and you know, we've already ran the Georgia Traverse a couple times, trying to get that ready so we can pick a date for the Modern Jeeper guys.
Perfect.
But that was wow. I'm telling you, if anybody is thinking about it for next year, you might as well start signing up now, because I can guarantee you that's going to get pretty packed up quick next year.
Well, and we're looking at it. It all depends on the schedule, because obviously the schedule gets tight. I mean, all of a sudden we're starting getting into some events. We get some other things. We got, more other events we're going to do. We have 4 more, including the Georgia Traverse, to do this year. And but there has been discussion about going back to Death Valley in the in the late fall, early winter, because it's still a perfect time to be out there, and just doing it again, because we can do multiples and fully permitted events, of course, for all those guys that are out there questioning, because even leading up to the event, we were getting calls like, "How are you doing this without permits?" But we were fully permitted. Corey went through the entire process, and we want to be legal no matter where we're going.
Yeah, he was telling me about it. He handled it very well, and everything went well with him in California to get that permit. And I'm guessing it was this. Is that the? Well, no, actually, that's the force. So that's national. So, because that's not through BLM, right? On that one.
No, it was a combination, because there's some shared responsibilities, and so yes, it's through the Park Service there. And then it had to do with California. There's some California restrictions and stuff. So there's shared responsibility, shared agencies. But he just found, it's one of these things that people sometimes don't get, because we've had this happen in Moab. We've had this happen where people try to go off and do things, and then they consider the BLM or the Park District or the others to be the opposition, instead of working with them and help them. I mean, you have people there who are just trying to do their jobs and follow the guidelines within the parameters that have been set for them, right? And if you just work with them and help them and give them a little bit of respect, it's amazing how far that will go. And instead of saying like, "Well, hey, I was just going to screw it," better to ask forgiveness than permission. Or "I want this," and I'm sorry, sir, we're not sure, we can't do that. Well, why not? You get all pissed off and pissy about it. You just don't get things done that way. And Corey just made a friend, and he worked through it and found different ways. And there were a dozen solutions we had based on any possible scenario that they came up with, so that we could still do the event. And the best possible scenario happened. And that was just because they actually advocated for us. I mean, they actually worked for us, and the person who was handling the permits went through the process to actually present our case and what we plan on doing, and it came through.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's good to see that he worked the correct angles and got it, because I mean that's going to go a long way with the Modern Jeeper group. Period.
Right.
It's put us in really good standings with them.
Absolutely, and it's one of those things, you don't need the stresses of being found out, or oh wait, we got to make sure we camp away from each other so that nobody thinks we're a group, and all these other stresses of our goal there is to have a bunch of people together who are enjoying themselves and having a great time, and it sounds like you did.
Yeah, no, man, it was awesome, man. I mean, like I said, it's still overloading your head on how many places we went. I mean, we covered over 150 miles in a day. I mean, we hustled. I mean, it was only 5 of us on the second group, so it was a little bit easier, I'm sure. But I mean, we were just able to we were able to leave camp a little bit earlier, so we got extra stuff in. I mean, we went to chloride mines, we did Titus Canyon, I couldn't name them all, man. We did so much stuff.
Wow.
And that Titus Canyon, that is, wow. When you come around that corner at Red Canyon, oh my God. And then you drop down into that valley and you start going between them rocks. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go fast or slow?
Through which one?
Through the canyon.
Especially
through the big rocks.
Slow as hell, man. You had to take all that in. That was
your first time you'll go slow. The second time it becomes an obstacle course, where you just try to see what your skill set is.
Yeah, you're just driving, and all of a sudden it looks like, where the hell do I go from here? It looks like it's just a wall with no exit, and then you just have to make a sharp turn. It's you can't explain. I do so many of these things, like when I did the Outer Banks, and when I do even the Traverse, as simple as that is. When we did Colorado a couple years ago, when we went for 2 weeks, Kayla and I had 5, 6 other customers and friends with me, and you just can't explain to people how amazing it is to get out there and unhook from everything, because there's no cell phone signal, there's nothing. And I mean, I'm still dealing with it now, where I'm still getting text messages coming in. And I made a post earlier on, made a post earlier on Facebook, and just was going to do a post. I'm like, you know what? I just did a video and told everybody, if you texted me and I didn't reply to you, text me again. If you called me, it didn't show up on my phone. I was out. Like there was no, as of Friday, man, there wasn't nothing. There was no signal, no nothing.
Wow.
So
yeah, that is the beauty of it. There's a few places around the world around the United States where you can go and go wheeling, and the Rubicon's one of them. No signal, forces you to focus, forces you to forget about the responsibilities back home and just enjoy yourself in the moment.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, it was great. I mean, it was worth everything. The trip. I mean, I only slept 3 hours the first night, 3 hours the second night. This last night, I at least slept 4, so we'll see how many I sleep tonight. But we'll see.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what's next for you? Heading back home and.
Man, I'm heading home. I've got show-wise, I've got Jeep Beach coming up, and then Jeep Jam up in Florida, Jeep Jam up in
Panama City.
Panama City. Yep, Panama
right.
City. Trying to think what else I got going on. Kayla's got so much stuff going on with her horses.
Oh wow.
With all her barrel racing and stuff like that. So we got a bunch of that coming up, but we've got. I'm trying to think what's our next overland trip is going to be.
Is it spring break? In the spring break?
Yeah, we're gonna go Memorial Day weekend. We're gonna go wheeling, but we're doing another overland trip. I'm still trying to plan more, but
Nice.
I think we're gonna go up and do the. We're talking about taking the auto train north to Virginia. Putting the Jeeps on the auto train and then going and doing the Shenandoah Overland Trail in Virginia.
Oh wow.
In West Virginia, sorry.
Wow.
So I think that's going to be our next one, and I'll see how that one goes, and then get back to you on that one. That may be an option for us too.
That sounds cool.
So, but man, don't tell me Corey's thinking about doing another Death Valley in 2021 because that's going to be a problem. My Jeep's already got 33,000 miles on it. I'm still not home, so.
So you drove the JT all the way out there, and you're driving it all the way home.
Oh yeah. I've been driving this thing everywhere, man. We leave the shop, like our last trip to the Traverse. We left the shop at 6 a.m, and the deal is you had to drive from JeepersDen all the way up and come back in it. So
that's awesome. That is amazing.
So, but yeah, it's gonna have 50,000 miles on it by the end of the year, but now that if he does another one, that's gonna be a problem. Because that would be, I could probably go to Death Valley twice a year now if you ask me, man. That was, I'm telling you, that never knew that place was that badass.
Yeah,
Never.
I've heard a lot about it because Dell's been around here a lot, and he goes and does these trips. And Aaron's done a few trips. He's gone out there with Dell a couple of times on Dell's own little trip. So the idea of doing it was like it was a natural for us to do that, using Dell and just learning from him. But God, what an incredible place, and how much history and how much that area just impacted the West, or really impacted the history of this nation.
Yeah. Oh no, man. I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's so much there to learn and just it's overload, man. It's information overload, and then just the campfires at night. And I asked Dell. I said, man, you got this guitar in the front seat, but what do you do with the damn thing? I mean, is it just your friend you carry along with you, or what? 'Cause he didn't, So he finally pulled it out the last night, and we had a good time the night before on Sunday night, and was perfect. He pulled that out. I've been wanting to learn how to play the guitar, so it's kind of cool to have him do that.
Well, and did he do his little bit of cowboy poetry?
He did do his cowboy poetry, and he did his 2 Jeep songs. So
nice.
He did good.
Nice. That's awesome. All right. Well, next time out is got Jeep Beach, which that's coming together. That's awesome that it's actually going to happen. And right now it seems to be all green lights. We're of course going to be out there, and Corey will be out there with the CTI trailer, and I think our guy Will here, is going to come on out and man the booth. And of course, for all of our listeners, if you're out there, we will do t-shirt giveaways again, but you pretty much got to come to the booth like right when it opens, because we allocate a certain number per day, a couple hundred a day, I think, and they're gone within the first hour and a half. So if you want a shirt, you got to come out and see us. But we'll post what that shirt looks like and all that stuff. So how can our Modern Jeepers find you, Ricky?
Well, you can find us at JeepersDen.com, which is just an informational site. Really, we don't do e-commerce. And all the Instagram, Facebooks, YouTube, anything you can think of. And then obviously you can always email us at sales@JeepersDen.com.
Awesome. Hey, Ricky,
So,
thanks for
and
sharing.
also
You'll go, yeah.
for Jeep Beach, we may have a surprise for everybody. Either it's probably going to be after Jeep Beach. We may do a little something at the shop. So for
Ooh.
the people that can't make it to Jeep Beach to use the CTI trailer, Corey and I are working on something to see if we can
Ooh.
maybe do a little something since he's going to be there for a little bit.
That's right. Yeah, because
Um,
the following weekend is May Day Miami. So
yep, you got Mayday
yeah.
Miami the following weekend, and then he's going to stick around till Florida Jeep Jam. So for the guys that can't go to Jeep Beach, Mayday, or Jeep Jam, we may do something in between at the shop, like on a Saturday, and set the ramp up so people can come out and test their Jeeps on it.
Wow, that sounds like fun. That's awesome.
So,
Very cool. Well, hey, Ricky, thanks so much for sharing with the Modern Jeepers your experience in Death Valley. I'm so glad. Keep driving safe and having fun on your trip back.
all right, man, we'll do. If you guys can, man, try to make these trips out there, man. The history was amazing, and the trip, the scenery, everything. If you can make it, plan it.
That sounds good. All right, my friend. Thanks again for joining us.
All right, Matson. All right, buddies. Thank you. See ya.
See ya.
Well, hey, Modern Jeepers, I hope you enjoyed that bit from Ricky. He's a great friend, awesome guy, and just a little bit of a taste of what the Modern Jeeper adventures are like. We try to bring a professional environment, a fun environment, an enjoyable environment where you can leave your stresses behind and you can join us for some amazing wheeling. There are still spots available for the Moab trip, which is coming up Memorial Weekend. And if you haven't been to Moab Memorial Weekend, it's pretty incredible. It's a great time to wheel. It's a ton of people in town, not a lot of Jeepers. Versus Easter Jeep Safari, which is actually coming up at the end of the month. Now, I will be out there at Easter Jeep Safari. Corey will be out there. Jesse will be out there. And one of our guys here, Chris, will be out there. We are going to be going out. It'll be Chris's first time, so it'll be pretty exciting for him to be able to go out and see what's going on. And we're going to be out there with the CTI trailer. The CTI trailer will be at Arches. And you can come meet us and join us and talk to us. We, of course, will be giving away free shirts again, just like we do every year. Modern Jeeper shirts for the CTI Tour 2021. A lot of stuff happening on that tour. We'll try to keep you guys informed as to where we're going to be. We have a real goal to hit a lot of shops this year. And from there, I think, gosh, from Easter Jeep Safari, you got Jeep Beach, then following Jeep Beach, you've got Mayday Miami, then following Mayday Miami, you've got Panama City Jeep Jam. I mean, it's just like boom, 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 event after event and event. Plenty of opportunity to catch up with the CTI trailer across the country. As we're going through some different locations, we are definitely going to be pushing to stop at shops and do some different CTI events too. And if you have a club or an event that's happening, please reach out to Corey at Metalcloak.com and let him know about it. Jesse at Metalcloak.com. We'll do some coordinating on it so that we can get out there and join your event in your time. And if you're on the West Coast out here and have something going on, reach out to Matson at Metalcloak.com, because our second CTI trailer, which is based here at Metalcloak, is always itching to get out and have some fun. That being said, my friends, make sure to, if you like this video, make sure to smash that like button. If you are listening on the podcast, please subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, talk to us, tell us what you think. We try to check out all the different comments so we can share back with you and communicate with you, our friends, our fans. And that being said, we'll see you on the trails.